One afternoon in the Carolina, three engines were sitting in the yards. Isabella was sharing stories with the Blue Comet about how she and Jessica had worked on the Frisco Railway back in 1926. The Blue Comet was astonished by her story. Isabella then asked the Blue Comet to share her own story. The Blue Comet began telling her about how she and her brother had worked on the New Jersey Railroad.
I'm really glad that my brother, Neville, has finally come back to life,
she said happily. I agree. I'm really glad that you and your brother are finally together again. Isabella smiled, but her smile soon faded. She suddenly felt that something was seriously wrong with her past. Jessica and the Blue Comet became confused and concerned. Are you alright, Isabella? She asked worriedly. I'm not really alright, she said sadly.
Can you please tell us why you're feeling this way?
Yeah, we just want to know what's wrong. Well, to be honest, let me tell you about my serious story. After you went to work on the Clinchfield, Jessica, my brother Frank and I, along with the other Frisco locomotives, continued working on the railroad, but we soon began to realize that something was going wrong. There were dangerous incidents, including crashes involving other trains and serious problems at the stations, and constantly chasing an unattainable goal was still driving me a little bit crazy. After Isabella finished explaining what had happened, Jessica and the Blue Comet were completely surprised. Oh no! I'm sorry to hear that.
Me too.
You've been putting so much pressure on yourself all this time. Yeah.
I understand. I feel that way too.
After a moment of silence, Jessica prepared to leave the station. Well, I think it's time for me to get back on the main line. Jessica began to chuff with her train, while Isabella and the Blue Comet remained at the station. Soon, Jessica picked up speed as she headed toward her next destination. She passed through another station and eventually arrived at the yard.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be back in the ravine where all the bad things you did happen?
I'm not a jinx. My friend helped me rebuild and restore myself, and I've moved on from my past.
You should go back to the river where you came from. You killed engines and railway workers, and you became a demon. You belong back in that ravine where all those terrible things happened.
Enough! I'm not going back there. I've changed, and I'm not letting you drag me back into the past. So get out of my way, you smug old rust bucket! Jessica gave Diesel an angry glare before letting out a sharp whistle. She then puffed away from the yard, leaving him behind. She continued along the Pennsylvania Railroad, steadily puffing and chuffing toward her next destination. Meanwhile, Southern Pacific 449, known as Leoroy, was traveling across the farm fields and forests along the Clinchfield Railway.
Driver, I think I'm running low on water in my tender.
Don't worry. We should head to the yard and stop there. The nearest water tower is still about 15 miles away.
Darn, I'm going to slow down.
Leroy began slowing as he approached the yard. He suddenly noticed two diesel engines nearby.
Oh no, those diesels are here. I'd better shut off my headlight. Hopefully they won't notice me hiding in the yard.
Meanwhile, two diesel engines were sitting in front of the shed.
Did you hear that? It sounds like a steam engine. Probably not. I think you're imagining things.
At the same time, Jessica was making her way through the bridges and trees in the mountains, pulling a long freight train. Here are my freight cars, right on time.
Good. Now put those freight cars away.
Okay, chill. Jessica carefully moved the freight cars into the yard. Meanwhile, Leroy remained hidden behind the cars.
Someone is chaffing nearby. Maybe they can help me escape from this yard.
Huh? I hear steam coming from behind these freight cars. Curious, Jessica slowly walked around the freight cars to investigate. Suddenly, she stopped in surprise. Holy moly!
Oh, hi. Are you all the way from Carolina?
Yes, I brought these freight cars here to be delivered on the Clinchfield Railway. But who are you?
I'm Leroy, but everyone calls me Southern Pacific 449. I ended up here because I'm running out of my water in my tender.
Oh, that's interesting. My name's Jessica, but everyone calls me 311. But some of my close friends call me Jessica. But don't worry, If you ever need somebody, or if you ever need help with anything, I'm here for you." The two locomotives looked at each other, realizing that their unexpected meeting might lead to a new adventure. Jessica quickly coupled up to Leroy so they could escape from the yard before the two diesel engines noticed them. "I hope they don't notice you or see us leaving."
I hope we're not too late.
"I hope so too. Let's get out of here." Jessica and Leroy hurried out of the yard as fast as they could. The two diesel engines soon noticed them escaping.
Hey, they're escaping.
Jessica and Leroy kept moving. They raced across the bridge surrounded by forest and mountains. Then passed through a station in Pennsylvania. Soon, they crossed another bridge and continued through the open fields.
So, Jessica, you've been working in both the Carolina and on the Cleveland Railway, right?
Leroy looked curiously at Jessica as they continued their journey down the main line. "I've been through worse." After Jessica replied to Leroy, they continued chuffing and puffing along the main line through Pennsylvania. They soon reached the Carolina Railway right on time and stopped at the station. I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water for your tender.
Okay, thank you, Jessica.
Jessica uncoupled from Leroy and headed toward the water tank. Jessica quickly went to find a tank of water for Leroy. She reversed across the bridge and headed toward the junction. Where she changed the planes and entered a small yard. I found it! Now I'm going to bring this water to Leroy's tender. Jessica coupled up to the single tank car and carefully pulled it back toward the station. When she arrived, Leroy noticed the tank car behind her. Jessica stopped in front of him.
Wait, is that water for my tender?
Yes.
Thank you for bringing this tank of water for me.
Leroy smiled gratefully, and Jessica gave him a warm smile in return. A little later, Leroy had received enough water to continue his journey. He felt much better and was ready to get moving again. While they waited, Jessica and Leroy talked about their experiences and the difficult moments they had faced in the past. Later, the Blue Comet and Isabella arrived at the station. They became curious when they saw the unfamiliar steam locomotive standing beside Jessica. "Oh, you two haven't met him yet. Let me introduce you to Leroy. He's Southern Pacific 4449. It's nice to meet you too, Leroy. I'm Isabella."
And I'm the Blue Comet. Welcome.
Leroy smiled as he finally met Jessica's sister and her friend. Before long, the three engines began sharing stories about their past experiences, listening to one another and learning about the journeys they had each been through. Eventually, Leroy was ready to run again. Thanks to Jessica's help, he had enough water to continue his journey. Leroy let out a cheerful whistle as his wheels began to turn once more. And with that, Leroy continued down the railway, feeling happier and more confident than before. What had begun as an unexpected problem had turned into a new friendship. and perhaps the beginning of another great adventure.